Welcome back to another week of our live tech Q&A with Wind River Internet. I'm here with Pat Lawson.
Hello.
And my name is Terry Caldwell-Udell. And today we have kind of an interesting subject. We're kind of going off of our usual, but this is important, right?
Yeah, it's good. It's good to know about what are your kids and tweens and teens using the internet for.
It's scary out there, and this is like a whole new thing for parents. Parents have never had to worry about this before, and suddenly you have to constantly worry about what your kids are doing online or on their phone, what apps they're on, are they in danger? So yeah, there's a lot of ways to keep track of your kids on the net. Let's see.
So parents helping parents, no judgment?
Well, parents are always judging other parents constantly, right? Like, why'd you do it like that? Don't do that. But, we're pioneers in this. This is like the first generation of parents to navigate the social media frontier with their kids. And nowadays, children are getting phones younger and younger.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Like, even my 1-year-old's like all about it, the iPad.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like, I'm sure kids get in kindergarten, they're probably already asking for a smartphone. So, parents are getting them these phones earlier and earlier, which as a parent, I feel like it's kind of comforting in one way to know that your child has the phone and that you can reach them at any time, but then on the other hand, it's not that comforting because almost anybody can reach them also if you're not careful.
Yeah, it's unique for every parent and their style and beliefs and things on what they should allow their kids to see or not see. And I personally in our family, like it's more of the whole idea of like, was it the PG rating or parental guidance?
Yeah.
So if you are with your kids when they're on the internet, and you can explain things to them if certain things come up that they don't know about, or you can be kind of the guidance, be the parent.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how we've done it in our home. But there's a lot of tools, and looking at these statistics that you have, it's pretty interesting to see what everybody's doing with their time online.
It's very interesting. So we have from the 2019 Common Sense Census, media used by tweens and teens. Tweens spend an average of 4 hours and 44 minutes a day online.
That's crazy. That's like
Teens, it's even more. Teens are 7 hours and 22 minutes.
How many hours are you awake a day?
I before my daughter got an iPhone, she had an Android, and so we used the family link to link us together so I could, control what apps she downloaded. I could, block things. And you can set time limits for them, which is really awesome. They don't think it's awesome, but, I would always tell her, hey, don't cross me because I can shut you off easily no matter where you're at, so. The stats are alarming. And, like we said, almost everybody has a phone nowadays. Starting at, gosh, I know, some kids probably 7, 8 years old.
Yeah, it's interesting because a lot of people don't have landlines anymore. It used to be you had a home phone, so if you were out of the house, the kids could call. But now most adults have cell phones. If they leave with the only phone, it's kind of...
Yeah, exactly.
From a safety standpoint, we're like, well, it'd be good to have a phone for the kid because if we're not there, they have a way to call.
Yeah, there's always some kind of an excuse,
yeah.
Which is usually an important one. But in 2019, 19% of 8-year-olds had smartphones.
Wow, 8-year-olds.
And that just rises. By the time you get to 18, it's 91%. But even 12-year-olds, it's 69%. So over half.
Wow, in 2015, it was just 77% at 19. Now it's 91%. That's crazy.
Oh, yeah. Every year it just rises. It's just natural now. So, I mean, what are they doing? What are your teens, tweens doing when they're online besides TikToking? They're YouTubing.
Did you see that Judi Dench one where her and her grandkid were dancing? Yeah, on TikTok. It was
There's been a lot of good ones since
amazing.
quarantine started. Which brings me to another fact. Aquina called me this morning, practically in tears, because she heard that TikTok might get banned in the United States.
Yeah.
So
There's a lot of like Huawei is banned for anybody that does like federal contracts or grants or anything like that. So it's possible.
yeah, I feel like right now TikTok, besides maybe YouTube, is probably one of the most used apps by teens and tweens these days.
I don't know. I think TikTok's kind of like, what was it, Vine before that? And
Yeah.
there was a couple other ones that just kind of, they're like the latest fad thing that kind of come and go. Once the novelty wears off, I don't know how long those will be around.
I don't know. It's been going for a while, and then now it's like everybody's using it. I mean, companies are using it for marketing, and because they know that's where everybody is watching. All the kids are on it. I mean, my daughter is on TikTok 24/7 if you'd let her.
So when was this stats done? Just at the end of?
These were 2019 stats.
So this is before. Well, TikTok was around, but I mean, TikTok
Yeah.
now is like huge.
Exactly. It's come up a lot more. But on this one, it's 53% of tweens are watching TV or playing videos on their.
And we see that here as ISP. Most of our traffic is video traffic.
Oh, for
So
sure.
it's either YouTube, Netflix, Hulu. Now there's Peacock and HBO Max and Sling and all these other ones.
There's so much. And the funny thing is that tweens are 53%. Teens are only 39%. So, I mean, they're doing a lot of different things. I say the number one thing for parents, first of all, is to make sure you have communication with your kids and you talk to them about the dangers and, lay out some ground rules and make sure they follow them. Because I feel like communication has to come first, even before you get into the apps and things that you can use. All right, so here we go. So Snapchat is still really big for a lot of tweens and teens. That's actually what they use even to message their friends. They don't use regular Messenger. They just use.
They get off of the Facebook because that's where all their relatives are.
Yeah.
I don't want them seeing what they're posting.
Yeah, really, they don't. I mean, I don't think kids nowadays are on Facebook that often. I think more than not they're doing Instagram, or most of them are on Snapchat.
Which is funny because Instagram's actually part of Facebook now.
Is it?
Yeah, they bought Instagram.
That makes sense. That makes sense for sure.
But people don't know. But that's where they link together. Like you can have them post on each other.
Oh, really?
Yeah, you can have it so all your Facebook posts go to Instagram and all your Instagram posts go to Facebook.
Oh, technology. So Snapchat, some things parents might want to know about Snapchat. 69% of teens, 13 to 17, use Snapchat, and it ranks first in terms of how often it is used. If you're a parent and you haven't heard the term streaks, then you need to ask your child what a streak is on Snapchat, because they take it very seriously. And it's kind of like a contest where you have to meet your streak, you basically have to send a certain number of snaps to your friends in a day. Do you do that, Chelsea?
Yeah, I have one with me and my best friend. That's the only one I really still work on. That's over 1,000 days or so. So we've been doing it for like 3 years now.
Whoa.
We kind of gotten to the point though where adults, we're kind of like, should we just let this go?
not as important anymore.
But we've gotten in too deep, so we've been keeping it going.
Exactly. But think about a 12-year-old, it's like, she'll tell me, Mom, I have to have my phone. I'm going to miss my streaks. What am I going to do? She gets really upset. And it's like, oh my gosh, forget about it.
Wow.
The app has been in the news often for instances of predator encounters and users self-harming as a result of content. One thing about Snapchat is if your child has Snapchat, you might want to turn off the location feature, because there's a snap map where if somebody has you as a friend, they can look on this map and they can see exactly where you're at.
So correct me if I'm wrong, but I remember the original pitch of Snapchat was there are private messages that disappear. So that they weren't
yeah.
supposed to be permanent. So unlike like YouTube, like Twitter or Facebook, where wherever you post is there forever, if you do something Snapchatty, it's supposed to be with your close personal friends and it disappears.
Yeah.
People found really quickly it's super easy just to take a screenshot.
Oh, yeah.
So that's not the case. I mean, you can easily, it's just like anything else. If you put it on there, it can live forever.
Yeah.
So, a lot of people get into bad situations by posting an image they shouldn't, and so that's a conversation that needs to be had with your kids. Like,
Exactly. That's a
Yeah.
conversation for almost all of the social media, is be aware of what you're posting, and we'll get into that later.
even if it says you can delete it, you really can't.
No, anything on the internet's there forever.
Yeah, because once it's out there, somebody else has it. Even if you delete it and it's not going to new people, it was there before, and somebody could have had a picture of it or something, and it's gone. I mean, so be very careful. It's a permanent record when you put something on the internet, even if you think it's temporary.
One of the most alarming aspects of the app is its Discover feature, which enables individuals and companies to create their own channels. That's kind of been an issue. The Discover, usually anytime you send a snap or you receive a snap, when you're finished, it pops up, and it just has random things that you can look at. And I don't know if it's like Facebook or Google or anything where it kind of sees what you're interested in, and so that's what pops up. But it can be dangerous for kids because you never know what they might see on
They're
that.
probably monitoring for keywords and things that you type, and
for sure.
showing related ad targets. But yeah, they could be not so safe for kids stuff.
Yeah, I mean, you just got to really watch it close. And then we come to Instagram. Everybody knows what Instagram is. Started as mostly a photo sharing app. Now it's pretty much the same as Facebook. Basically on Instagram, just like Facebook, teens, all they want is likes. So they'll do whatever they can to get likes on whatever they post. And sometimes this can be a problem. Also, it leaves them wide open for cyberbullying, which is also a big problem.
I remember the big thing with Instagram when it first came out was it had the filters. So you can make it look like an antique photo, or they filter so your face looks better. And then Snapchat one-upped them with all the virtual faces and all the goofy, silly things where you make yourself look like a baby. And
Yeah.
it's, what do they call it? Then people went the opposite way and they post something like, here's my picture, no filter.
Oh, yeah, that's a big thing, no filter. But does that ever happen? No. Everybody uses a filter. Which brings us to, if you're an adult and you're on a dating site, trust no one. And that's just a little tidbit of information that's extra for today. But on Instagram, public photos are the default. Photos and videos shared on Instagram are public unless privacy settings are adjusted. That's like anything. Any social media your child is on, you need to set up privacy settings. That way only people that follow them or their friends can actually see what they're doing, and other people can't get on and look for things. Kids can send private messages on Instagram, and just like DMing on Facebook or anything else, and anybody can send a message to them. And then there's TikTok. And another thing with all these social medias, it's always like 13 and up, or they're always giving ages, but all somebody needs to do is like put their birthday back so it makes them older. And, nobody checks it. They can get on.
Yeah, because what do they say? You got to be 13?
Yeah,
Most
most
sites.
of us 13 and up. TikTok's 12 and up. But yeah, I mean, most kids know to just put in a different birthday. Most of them probably have it in their head exactly what year they need to put for their birthday to be old enough to use the app. So everybody knows what TikTok is now. It's a performance and video sharing social network that features mostly teens lip syncing and dancing. Now it's a big thing, dancing. You know, everywhere you go, like I'm in the car with Aquina, we're sitting in the drive-thru, and she's just entertaining everybody around us because she's got her phone up on the dashboard and she's doing her little TikTok dances or whatever. And it's constant, you know, which it's harmless. It's basically like anything else. You just want your privacy settings set up and you want to make sure you know what they're doing and who's contacting them on there. Because on TikTok, I don't even know, do you have to have followers? I mean, basically, you can go on and see anybody's stuff, can't you?
Yeah, and I've known people that don't have like a ton of followers, and it will still show up on your feed based on like location or if they're in your contacts. So it really can just be like your video can go viral just because it was being
Yeah.
put on somebody else's feed, and it doesn't really matter like if you have followers or not.
Yeah, just if people are trying to make money, you can say like, I got so many followers.
Oh, yeah, and people do make money off that nowadays. They have these houses now where, like, top influencers go and they just live in these houses, and I can't remember what they're called, but they live there, and that's what they do. They have to make so many videos a day or, you know, whatever.
I guess that's another thing to be aware of, to let your kids know about is ads are sneaky.
Oh, yeah, for
because
sure.
they're not like it used to be or still are on TV where you've got, you know, 20 minutes of content and 10 minutes or 22 minutes of content and 8 minutes of commercials where, you know, there's a commercial break, there's a commercials, it's a company trying to sell you something. And with social media, it's more of product placement. It's kind of hidden, like, oh, you know, they're wearing this particular brand of clothes or this particular shoe or they're drinking this soda. They don't necessarily, they're supposed to disclose it, but they don't most of the time.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like nowadays most people realize that happens with almost everything online now, but, you know, kids don't understand that, especially the younger ones.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they'll click on anything that pops up. It's just like when they're playing games and the ads pop up in the games. And if you don't have different settings on their phone or whatever, and they click on that, they can instantly purchase something. Like these games, they pop up and they want them to buy more coins
the
or
in-app
whatever.
purchases, the virtual currency. That's a great idea, selling air, you know.
Yeah.
Not even air. I can't believe they actually sell air in the stores now. That's a whole other story, but they sell canned air for hiking.
Really?
Yeah, especially over Colorado. It's a thing.
Yeah.
You can buy compressed air. It's like, what is this, the Lorax or something? Or anyways, but yeah, people making money off of virtual goods.
Exactly.
It's a thing.
Yeah. But like anything, I mean, there's creepy comments. You never know who's going to say what, which even goes beyond cyberbullying because you don't know. Somebody's just going to say whatever to your kid on there.
Yeah, it's pretty scary. People pretending to be who they're not, and trying to lure locations and things.
Oh, for sure.
That's
And parents also need to be aware. I mean, if your kid's on TikTok, you should probably get a TikTok and follow them so that you know exactly what they're posting because, you know, a lot of it has sexual content. A lot of the songs that they do the dances to, you know, they're not censored. So there's just a lot really to look at and to be aware of. And once again, it's just basically going back to just having a conversation with your child, you know. Make them be aware, make them let you be aware because, you know, a lot of this stuff, they know more about it than we do. But, you know, gaining followers and fans is important, so they'll go out of their way to do what they can to get more followers because it's just like a big social status thing now, is how many followers you have on these things, how many likes you get.
Yeah, and the next one's even more so like that. Yeah, you're 17 and up YouTube.
Oh.
Popularity. People do stupid stunts on there, and some of them don't survive.
Yeah.
You can be really careful. I remember when YouTube very first came out. It was almost all people getting hurt on skateboards or stuff like that and doing dangerous stunts. And they actually started banning it and making it kind of like illegal to post injuries and things.
But of course, people have found lots of workarounds for that.
Yeah.
So, unfortunately, there's always a way to get that content on there. But I think on a lot of they do have YouTube for kids. I know when Aquina first got her phone, she didn't have regular YouTube on it. The only thing she could get was YouTube for kids.
Yeah, and it's interesting, as a creator now, it's forced on you whenever you upload a video. You have to say whether or not it's made for kids or not. And it didn't used to be that way. And then there was a lot of people targeting kids with really inappropriate content, saying it was for kids, and it wasn't.
Yeah.
And so now they've been, over just in the past few months, they really cracked down super hard on that. So it's supposedly relatively safe now, if you do YouTube for kids, but still,
Yeah. It's like nothing is completely safe anymore because there's just way too many workarounds.
Yeah.
There's way too many people that can just hack in so easily to anything.
Everybody's always got to find a loophole.
Oh, it's true. So, texting apps. There's a lot of scary texting apps out there. Like WhatsApp. You can send text messages, audio messages, videos, and photos to anyone, anywhere. I mean, you can find anyone on WhatsApp, a different country, whatever. It's not really monitored a lot. Kik is kind of the same way. And then Snapchat. I mean, like most tweens, anyway, that I know, that's what they're using as Snapchat to chat with their friends, because that's what they're on, all the time. But do be aware if your child has a different kind of messaging app on their phone.
And we did get our first question
All right.
sent in by Sandra Dodge, and she asked, what age do you think is acceptable to get rid, like, what's the age limit on YouTube? When do you think it's time for your kid to transition over to adult YouTube? Or
That's a good question.
I feel like it's really up to the parent. Aquina's 12 and a half, and she gets regular YouTube on her phone now. But I think really, as long as you're monitoring what your kids are doing, and you're aware, they're probably okay by the time they get to at least 13 to have regular YouTube, because there is a lot of stuff that they can't watch that's not inappropriate, but they can't watch it because they only have YouTube Kids. There's a lot of...
Yeah, so I'd say there's actually 3 levels. There's the YouTube Kids, then there's YouTube, and it will filter out stuff if you don't have an account. And if they do have an account, you turn it on to... I can't remember what it's called, if it's child mode or safe mode or something like that, but it automatically does limit when people post and say that there's profanity and stuff in there.
Yeah.
But, like you were saying earlier, there's workarounds. People just don't put that on there even though it's in there. So, but it's kind of like an in-between, and I would recommend that. Like if, maybe 10 and up, you could do a YouTube, but turn on the child safety part, where it's not just kids, but it still limits some of the
Yeah, exactly.
the more adult things.
And I mean, we'll get into the apps that parents can have to help monitor their kids without taking their phone daily and just going through it.
And I know, like our smart routers, when you turn on the child safety mode, it automatically does that with all the YouTube videos, as it blocks all the mature content videos. Even though you don't have to do it in the account, it does it at the router side, which is kind of cool. So you don't have to find you don't have to find the kid's account that they're using or anything. It just does it for either your whole connection, or you can limit it to just their devices.
And what is that?
That's our Minim smart router.
Oh,
so
okay.
it lets you pick and create profiles, so you can have your kid and all their devices, and you could limit what they go to, on whether or not it's like safe for children, and limit all their devices.
Yeah, any more on anything, there's always parental controls. It's just knowing how to use them.
Yeah.
And actually using them.
I think as a parent, the best thing is the history. The kids might be smart enough to figure out.
That's the thing. Even with anything, like they can delete their history. They can delete text messages that they've had coming in.
You can look at. You can see though if you're monitoring, and be like, how come you keep deleting your history?
Exactly. You know exactly what they're doing.
You can't use your iPad unless you leave that on because we need to know what you've been watching. And then we had to have some conversations with our son about some things that he's watching. Like, we saw you're watching this. You understand, the consequences of what this person was doing, and it's
being a parent is hard, and it's harder now in the digital age. I mean, I guess some things are easier because of the technology we have, but it's definitely more dangerous for our children. Chelsea's going to pop a link into the comments that will send you to 15 apps that parents should know about and be aware of the different dangers of them. And we won't go through all those. You can look at it. One thing I suggest, this is a really cool service. It's called Gab Wireless. And if you have a younger child that's just begging you for a phone, but you just don't want them to have access to everything, a smartphone, you don't want them to be able to do all that, but you want to be able to call them, and different things. So this Gab Wireless, you can buy a phone from them and a plan, and basically it looks just like a smartphone. So the kid, they feel like they have a smartphone. They're not embarrassed to have the phone. Even though, they know that they can't do everything on this phone, but it still looks like they have a smartphone. It makes them feel like they have a smartphone, and it's a good transition for the younger ones into being able to do more with an actual smartphone. But
interesting.
Kids nowadays, it's all about how everything looks. So this is just a way a parent can make their child not be embarrassed, I guess. Who likes to embarrass their kids? Never. So Chelsea will drop that link in so you can check that out. So here is, like I said, I was using Family Link, which is great if you have an Android. So Android to Android, you can get Family Link. You can hook up all of your child's devices to it, their phone numbers. It basically GPS tracks them. Anytime they download an app, you see that they downloaded it, and if you don't want them to have it, you just nix it. You can set bedtimes on the phone, so automatically say 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock comes, they can only use their phone to make a phone call. They can't do anything else on it. You can set time limits, whatever. There's just so many different things. But they've got a lot more advanced apps now that actually help parents track everything their kids do on social media. The one app is called Bark. I think that's probably the most popular one. You do have to pay for it, but it's not very much each month. So basically, it just makes it so you don't have to go through your kid's phone. It picks up on keywords. Anytime it thinks that something may be going on, it alerts the parent. It was created by parents for parents. So basically, it monitors. Connect to 24 platforms, so 24 social media platforms for your child you can have on Bark that they will monitor. Text messages, emails, and social activity for signs of harmful interactions and content. You get automatic alerts via email and text when Bark's algorithms detect potential risks, so you don't have to comb through every post and everything they're doing. And then it alerts the parents to, this is happening, you need to check into it. They have great statistics where parents will say, this app saved my child's life. Like, I was alerted that they were talking to this person or this was happening. And they monitor for cyberbullying. They monitor for sexual content. There's all kinds of things that they monitor for. And if you go in, Chelsea will drop that link in, and check that out. And Basically, it'll take you through everything that this app does, but it's just so much easier for a parent. And it works on anything, Android, iPhones, whatever. You can get this app and it will work.
So you can try it for free, but there's...
I think right now they have a 7-day trial period where you can get on and try it for free.
Okay, so it's like $5 a month, or...
And then, yeah,
For
it's
the junior, or 14 for the...
not much at all. It's definitely,
Or $100 a year, or
definitely
$50
worth
a year.
it,
Okay.
you know, to use this. I mean, I think, I haven't gotten it yet, but I'm going to.
Yeah,
Now that
looks
she
neat.
switched phones, I can't use the family link anymore, so I need something new, and
Yeah, if
she's
you've got
getting older, so.
If you got iOS devices, they do have screen time built in, which is kind of a simplified, basic version where you can set what apps kids have, or content and privacy restrictions, communication limits. There's a bunch of stuff that you can do for free, so you don't necessarily have to buy something. So if you look for the parental controls on iOS, it's screen time. On Mac, Android, it's family link. Yeah.
There's so many of them out there now. And let's see, where is this at? So we also have a link that will take you to the 10 best parental control apps of 2020. So you can look at some others. Bark is number 1. Go figure. But a lot of these other ones are free too. So, you know, check into it. I mean, there's just so much. You'll find something that will work for you for sure. But, you know, back to have a conversation with your child. If you get your child a phone, even if they've had one for a while, just set time aside, monthly, weekly, whatever you think would work, to just sit down and chat with your kid about, you know, what they're doing online, and, you know, make them comfortable so that they know that they can talk to you about it,
Yeah.
you know. Talk, teach, and monitor. That's
Yeah.
what you need to do.
I agree. Yeah, especially be wary of like real-time communication stuff where, you know, you don't want your kids having, you know, private conversations with strangers.
No, no.
That's the one thing that we've always been very leery about, especially even like in video games. We didn't really talk about video games, but there's a lot of online chat inside of
That's true.
inside of the games. So you got to watch out for predators and.
It's crazy what you have to watch out for nowadays, you know, and even like with the schools going and during the quarantine to the Zoom classes and stuff, they had a lot of trouble in the beginning with predators or just stupid hackers would hack into the class. And Aquina had a couple things happen. The one time somebody just got on and was just cussing up a storm. Nobody knew who it was. But the next time somebody put porn up on the screen.
Ooh.
So they had to deal with a lot of that, and this was just people hacking into the Zoom classroom that they were using. And these are 6th graders, mind you. So, I mean, it's just a lot you have to think about. You just have to be very, very aware. Do we have any more questions?
Not at the moment being submitted to us. We do have one that's a little off topic.
Oh, go for it.
Okay. There was one submitted to us a while back ago talking about fiber optics and when they can be installed in homes, if that can be done now, or how they go about doing that.
Sure. We are installing fiber to the home right now in Arapahoe, around the housing projects of Beaver Creek, Great Plains, Bengay Heights, and along 17 Mile between the casino up to Great Plains Road. And we're actively working on Mill Creek Housing right now, so that'll be the next housing project that gets it out towards Ethatee. We also have Main Street from Daylight Donuts up to the old high school, the administration building for the schools. So everybody in between there can get it.
And that's for more than just businesses now, if you're close enough?
If you're close enough, you can get it residentially behind, like if you're in the housings directly behind it, and then we'll be expanding further out, back that way here soon.
Basically, you're just constantly expanding all the time.
Yes, yeah.
So
And
be
if we
patient.
don't get to you now, call us anyways and get added to the list, because we're expanding in the areas that are most requested.
And what did you say? You have to have how many people request it for that area?
Yeah,
to
so
go
if we're
in and-
doing like wireless and you live outside of town,
Mm-hmm.
if we got like a dozen people or so, or even just as little as like 6, we can make it happen. If we can find somebody on a hill or something to get it out there, then
Yeah.
we'll do it. Fiber optic, we need a neighborhood. So like, if you and your neighborhood y'all want it, then we'll all make that happen too.
There you have it. Get in good with your neighbors. Everybody has to agree. But like always, drop your address in the comments, and Pat will get on later and tell you if you can get it or not. I know you've been doing a lot of that lately. But, people are just starting to learn about what Wind River Internet can do for them.
Yeah. I guess just a couple updates, just because everybody always ends up asking later. When's our office going to be open? We're looking at the 20th. So we're going to open the office back up on the 20th. We'll have some sneeze guards and we'll have some masks at the desk. We do have people here that are immune compromised, so we do ask if you're going to enter the building to put on a mask. So we'll have some available for free if people want to come in for the foreseeable future. And then we have like sneeze guards and stuff, and be doing a lot of sanitation.
Yeah. Are you still making the masks?
We are
3D
still
printing?
making the masks. So that's another thing too. If anybody wants a mask, just I can't remember, $2 I think is what we're asking for, like donations for the materials.
Which isn't bad because
Yeah.
they're actually plastic and they're the more,
Yeah, they have a interchangeable filter, so you can cut up like a normal surgical mask, and you can use that filter 6 times. So you can use it for a couple days, or unless you're like working in a healthcare environment, then you want to change it every day.
and do you still give them for free to essential workers?
Yeah, essential workers free. If you work at a store or something where you got to wear a mask all day, you can have it for free. I like them because they stick out from your face, so they're not a cloth always touching your face. They do filter a little bit more, so sometimes they're some people say they're harder to breathe in. I personally think it's easier to breathe in them. I've got both. I kind of alternate sometimes.
Yeah.
So you can just try it out. $2.
Yeah, I mean, I know our reporter came in and she got one from you guys, and I think she uses it if she has to be in the really big crowds.
Yeah.
She'll put on that one, so it works well. Any more questions?
No, nothing much.
All right, well, if you're interested in anything Wind River Internet, what's the website, Pat?
WindRiverInternet.com.
Easy. Get on there, you'll have the contact information. Even though the office isn't open, you can still call, ask any questions, even to get a mask.
Yep.
You would.
Yeah, and we do appointments right now, and we're doing installs and everything. So.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us. You can still put questions in the comments. We'll go back and look, try to answer any of the questions afterwards. The video will be on YouTube on the County 10 channel, probably tomorrow. And so it'll also be on our Facebook page.
Yeah. Also, comments below on anything you guys might want us to cover.
Yeah, exactly. Any topics that people are interested in, let us know, and we will try to do it.